VIP, VIP. Yeah, so good evening, everyone. So once again, welcome everyone to this meetup once again. So before I get started, quick shout out to AWS office. I don't know if everyone's here, so let's give them a quick round of applause for sponsoring this venue. Yeah, and also as you all might know, we have slight adjustments of the speaker because Snoopy is sick, and we also thank Johnson for the last minute time to show up and present his session instead. Yeah, so round of applause to Johnson as well. Yeah, on that behalf, let's get started. So this is the agenda for today. So at first, as usual, we're going to start with our monthly announcements, monthly roundups, and then we'll have Wen Kang to share about his CK Scholar Assembly, actually happening next week, 15th of June, if I'm not mistaken. Then after that, we'll move on to the main topic sessions on Johnson on decentralized AI, then followed by Q&A, and then lepak and makan, if there's any pizza left. Yeah, so first thing, this one is an ongoing thing hosted by some of our members. It's about Web3 activity group. So in here, in this group, you'll see like people hosting badminton or like sports activities as well. Yeah, so if you're interested, scan this. If you want to play futsal, badminton, touch some grass, yeah, feel free. Yeah, and on the next session, this is a quadratic funding hosted by the Road to DEFCON initiative. And for further details, I pass it on to Harif to share about what's ETHKL been prepping on this. Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually just told this morning that there is DEFCON is organizing a quadratic funding round, which is you can think of it as fundraising for communities, and they are doing it specifically for Southeast Asia communities. So you can see there's a bunch here, Philippines, Thailand, and so on. And they asked us to also apply and set up an ETHKL fundraise. So how many people here are familiar with quadratic funding? Show of hands. Okay, so a very kind of noob description of it is that it's an automatic matching pool. So when people donate even a small amount to one project, then there will be matching done by the sponsor. So in this case, DEFCON C. And the whole idea with quadratic funding is it doesn't matter if you're not rich, if you donate even $1, but let's say 100 people are donating $1 each, it's way, way better than one person donating $100 because the matching sponsor will match much more based on the number of people who donate. So if you want to help ETKL do more meetups like this, or organize a cool conference in October, or many, many other activities, you can do a small donation. I'm not sure what the minimum is, but even $1 or whatever is fine. And this is on Arbitrum, so there's no question about expensive gas. Yeah, and we will share more details in the Telegram group later after our matching pool is set up. And yeah, when it's done, you can just send whatever amount you feel like sharing. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Harif, for the sharing. So moving on. Yeah, so as I mentioned just now, on the 15th or 17th June, we'll be hosting Zero Knowledge Scholar Assembly. It will be hosted in Summer University. Actually, on this further details, I'll have Wen Kang present later. So this is just a sneak peek for later. Yeah. Oh, on this, we're going to skip this first because there's some technical difficulties on finding the video. And yeah, so right now I'm going to pass it over to Nick to share about the money roundups.
GM. So yes, as always, GM. Lots of new faces today. I see a lot of new people. So there's always this ongoing experiment we do about the location of our meetups. We found that a good amount of people like to attend. Is it cutting off? There's a good amount of people who love Sunway as a meetup. Some people love Bukit Jalil as a meetup. And after 2 years, now we finally can host meetups in KL. So just to get an idea, how many of you here are from, let's say, APU? This row, right? Okay. How many of you here are from Sunway? Sunway, some of you. And those of you, the rest of you, like, where are you guys from? Just shout any locations. So far. Thanks for joining our meeting. Okay, cool. So the monthly roundup is a sharing on the latest. Okay, so the monthly roundup is the latest sharing of news that's happening in blockchain and digital currency. Over the last month, Ethereum ETFs have been approved. So in your traditional bank, in your traditional exchanges like NYSE, people can now, 8 companies have been approved to host Ethereum ETFs. ETF stands for exchange traded funds. So that means anyone can buy, these firms would buy spot Ethereum and then sell them on the exchange where you can buy shares of these funds. It's good for price action because it means your big companies would start accumulating lots and lots of Ethereum to be able to host a spot Ethereum ETF. And that also means that grandma can now pump your bags because she can now buy Ethereum on a traditional exchange. It should go live in a few weeks once they finish the filing. And so far, 8 companies, the famous ones like BlackRock and all those, have been approved. A new EIP is out, and for those who have not heard of the word EIP stands for Ethereum Improvement Proposal. So these are upgrades that are done to the Ethereum network to improve how the Ethereum blockchain runs. How many devs here are working on account abstraction? Devs in the room? No devs in the room. Okay, and thank you, Ethan, for working on account abstraction. But I think most of you would have a wallet, right? Those of you, who has a wallet here? Who has an Ethereum wallet? Cool. Yeah, everyone should have it. But I think one of the challenges of having a wallet is that it's difficult to set up and store that 12-word phrase. Often you either lose it or it gets hacked. A new EIP was proposed to allow, the gist of it is that EIP 7702 is to allow any EOA smart contract to be able to, call smart contract code once. So it's still in the drafts. I think we'll need a full technical explanation on this, but lots of work on account abstraction is being done to make the onboarding process of crypto easier. For one exchange, Coinbase, anyone? Oh wait, we can't use Coinbase. So if you have a Coinbase account, it's illegal. Yeah. So for Coinbase wallet, they're doing a wallet based on Touch ID. Is it called Touch ID for iPhone? So if you can set up Touch ID, you can create a wallet. Very good for UX. Okay, so this is a success story of of a brand, an NFT brand, which has launched collectibles. Who here has Pudgy Penguins? Holders of Pudgy Penguins. Little Pudgies included. Okay. So anyone been to Toys R Us recently and you've seen the Pudgy Penguins plush toys? Anyone seen it? I think it's available in Malaysia's Toys R Us. So this is one of the use cases of a brand that use Web3 as their primary marketing and fandom platform, where an NFT is launched, and then eventually a lot of people have strong interest in the products that are created by this NFT. They've created a plush toy. I think they have some plastic figurines, but quoting the founder, Luca, he sold over 1 million of these soft plush toys. So it says it's his best-selling product ever. So it's a success story of Web3 and NFTs. I think, how many of you have used Pump.fun to launch a token, buy a token? Anyone here use Pump.fun? It's a Solana project, but it's a nice feature because it's one of the recent most used protocols to launch a token. Anyone here bought Mother as a token? Any buyers of token here? Okay, not many people have used it. It's essentially a token generator on Solana where you can create any token with any name. It was recently hacked due to an insider within the team who leaked out private keys, but eventually they've made recoveries and it's working business as usual. One of the local banks in Singapore has been caught on chain for accumulating 650 million worth of Ethereum, and that is DBS Bank in Singapore. We have no idea what they're up to, but it shows that traditional banks have been proven to be collecting Ethereum on chain for potential use cases. Okay, and recently within Google Cloud, they've announced launch a full cloud center in Malaysia. So that means if you click deploy on Google Cloud, you will be able to select the Malaysia region. Anyone notice that Google Cloud actually has Web3 features? No. Yeah, Faucet is one, but they also have nodes, Ethereum nodes. You can actually one-click launch Ethereum nodes on Google Cloud. Yes, AWS can do that too. Yes, so it feels bad, but just by the way, it's expected that this cloud platform will launch in a few. Actually, I think it will take a few years to launch in Malaysia. But essentially, besides the usual Google Cloud products that you can use, Google Cloud also contains Web3 products, so it's a good improvement for the whole space in general. And that is the roundup for June. Thanks.
Thanks, Nick. Moving on, I'm going to invite Wen Kang to the stage. Share us about who is this speaker, why is this event so exciting, how to join, etc. So Wen Kang, welcome to the stage.
Hi, good evening. I'm Wen Kang. Okay, before I ask or talk about this event, who here knows about ZK? Come on, don't be shy. Nice. Quite a lot of you know about it. For those who doesn't know, and for those who know and want to know more, this event essentially it's for you. So we are very lucky to have one sub, Lim, which is a ZK researcher in PSC. He's the one that leads and helps organize, build a lot of the ZK projects currently active in PSE, and he's also responsible for the Ethereum community in Korea as well. So he's quite an important figure, and he's coming here. He's coming here to actually give this workshop. It's a 3-day workshop lasting from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's like a full day workshop, right? It's essentially like a boot camp where he will be the one giving the lectures about about the basics, from the basics to the advanced concepts of ZK. This does require, to participate, you do have to do some prior studying, but it's more towards the general concept, some basic concept, and regarding the maths and all, that's what we will cover. We'll cover actually what's the building blocks of it, how does the math works, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's why we have this. Again, it's 15 to 17 June, and we have Sunway University, specifically SPCC, to thank for the location, and PSC to thank for sending one sub here, right? So yeah, that's essentially the event. We still have, I think, about 3 to 4 spots left. It's a very limited spots for this. We only accept about 20 people for this because we want it to be a high quality boot camp. So yeah, if you want to know ZK, or you've already been in the space and know a little bit about it, but you want to know more about the building blocks, please do join this. It's it's kind of once in a lifetime opportunity that someone that's knowledgeable about it and has been in the industry since a while ago, it's coming here. So yeah, please do join. you should be able. I'll share the link again for the sign. I'll share a sign up link again for this later. Yeah, that's essentially it. Yeah. For this one, we'll try. But the thing is, it's more of an interactive session where it's a lecture and then discussion, lecture and discussion. So best if you can come because the recording is not gonna be as good as being there. Yeah, I'll try to get a recording for this. Yeah, not guaranteed. Yep, I'll be passing back to Kim.
Yep. Thanks, Wen Kang, for the sharing. So without further ado, I would like to invite the main guest today, Johnson from Chasm, to share about his project on the decentralized AI.
I pre-leaked all my memes. How do I share? Oh, sorry. Hold on. Okay, cool. Does it work? Okay. Yeah. Okay, good evening, everybody. Johnson from Chasm. I think today is just going to share a little bit about decentralized AI. Just a very quick intro about myself. Just share with you how I get into my journey. I think a year ago I was sharing in EveKL as well. It's almost a year ago. This was slides from a year ago. I don't have much time to prepare for this today, so I'm gonna use some of the slides from last year. I'm just joking. Yeah, I think I just want to go through like what's my verdict a year ago. This is a slide I prepared a year ago. Very quick intro. I've been in this space since 2017. I used to be in CoinGecko for almost 4 years, 3.5 years. Yeah. And then we started Huga Gaming and we branded as Chasm right now. And we used to have this product called Tataro. Yeah, so it's like this is what I'm up to, I would say, like 2017 until 2023. 2024, I'm working on more towards AI. So I guess I'm still doing AI. Just want to skip through what I've done in the past. Just focus on this verdict. Yeah, this was Tataro. This is something that we launched, some kind of like on-chain fortune telling. Yeah, you can get your tarot card on chain. Sorry, let me just go to the verdict real quick. Yeah. So my verdict a year ago, I was talking about decentralized AI. I think that the first thing that a lot of people are gonna do is more like personalizations because you get very personalized content with AI generated content. The second verdict what I was thinking is that it helps in boosting creativity because like products like Tatarot can create Shakespeare like poem in just a few seconds. And then lastly is just about ownerships. I think these few key things still aligns with what I think. I think this time I'm just adding one more thing, which is consensus, which is why I bring in talking about decentralized AI. I'm not sure you're familiar with decentralized AI. Anyone heard about decentralized AI or something like BitTensors? Okay, I think it's quite challenging to explain what is BitTensor then. Yeah, so what I did in BitTensor back then, I built, so in BitTensor there is built on top of Polkadot consensus. So what I did is that I started mining on top of BitTensors, just trying out using GPUs, running a few different subnets back then. So I was just sharing about, I built like a Telegram bot just to keep tracks about what is up to in the my miner because it's very, very competitive. It's very lucrative, but it's also very, very competitive. It's like you are mining, like let's say you are earning a few $100s a day, but until like just less than a week, then your miner got slashed because you are underperforming. It's very, very competitive. It's like a hacker ranking, and then if you lose, then you got kicked out of network. Yeah. So that's a very quick intro about BitTensor. Yeah, I just want to share a bit on the market outlook, how AI is comparing. So you can see this top AI companies is worth around $10 trillion. And if you look at on crypto end, the top AI coins is just merely just 0.4% of the leading companies, AI companies. It's just like 40 billion. And if you look at the top coins, most of them are just doing L1 and more like a DeepIn projects. There's not really much on the real AI projects on top of this. Yeah. But if you look at the whole crypto narrative mindshares, this is from Kaido. Anyone tried Kaido? I'm just curious. Oh, okay, 1. Okay, nice. Yeah, 2. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of people tried this. This is amazing too. So if you look at Kaito, right, you can see this narrative mindshare. You can see the historical how things is performing in the market. So you can see that the AI mindshare is always number 1. And it always maintains in terms of the mindshare is always 20 to 30%. In terms of like there are other narrative like memes, DeFi, ETF, GameFi, but I don't even see things like LST is not even mentioned here. So yeah, it's very interesting to see AI is always the top, but there's not much choices of coins that you can buy, to be honest. Yeah. So these are the article from DWF, just released recently. It's more like an infographic, sorry. So you can see these are all the projects that is, yeah. So I think one of our products called Weave. I'll share a bit about Weave later. But these are all the list of things. But if you take a look into all these projects, like BitDancers, it's actually like an L1. And it also has agents as well. So there's a lot of crossover. There's not a very fine line determined like where it belongs to. There's a lot of projects also do the same thing. And then that's how the market is. Everyone's trying different things. And there's not a clear winner yet. Yeah. So why decentralized AI? Does it even make sense? Why do we need to decentralize this AI? So this is a question that I think everyone will have in mind. Why do we need to do that? So I think to answer that, I'm just gonna use this. As we all know, like OpenAI is no longer open. They already decided that after GPT-2, they're gonna be more on a closed source model. So all this model that they run is through their own load balancer and all those things. So you cannot use it. You don't know what is the data that are being trained. Even you want to fine tune your own model, it's very tough because you need to fine tune only you can find out what's the problem. And you need to try a lot of process. But they are one of the best model in the market right now. So that's why they have a very big market shares in the market, almost 40%. And I would say Microsoft owns a lot of, I think 50% of OpenAI, if I'm not mistaken. So it's almost like Microsoft having the whole market share of this. Yeah. So this just happened today, actually. My team was telling me like, hey, we can't use OpenAI, we can't do shit. Yeah. So I think this is one thing that why you need, I guess, decentralized AI. That's one of the reasons this happened today. I think things are still functioning. And then on top of what other alternatives, there's open source LM. As you can see now, all the open source LM is ranking around 11 and 15. It's not very impressive. It used to be good. I think like top 10 used to have Mistral and Llama 3. I think as time goes, I think this is just the data I got from today. Llama 3 is just on 11th place. So you can see why Meta will do that, I guess, because they are losing the game. That's why they open source their model. Yeah, that's just my take. Yeah, and then if you compare, this is just until like April. If you see the top, all the green color is more like the open source model. How is it perform? And it always underperformed the closed source model. So this is what happened in this market right now. So I think I found this tweet is very, very good in terms of how it explains why we need decentralized AI. Okay, so the first point is that if you, from your training to inference, it remains hidden to you, means that all the data that you don't know in the OpenAI, you have no access. You don't know what is being trained. It can be very biased. It can be very skewed towards a certain extent. And then AI is susceptible to manipulation and biases. So you don't know when you train create a model, for example, and you go into production, you won't know it can be exploited that way because you don't have access to the data. And then last is like, second last, sorry, censorship. Censorship always happens when an AI model has very, very powerful because they have control in terms of what data choose to go into a pipeline, what data get to process, so it can change some kind of way to change the history. But in crypto-wise, it's very hard because everything is on ledger. I think that's very interesting of what you can do. And we have no longer own our own data. So I think that's the narrative of what decentralized AI can achieve. And I guess I want to cover the next part is what Vitalik says, since this is ETHKL, what he says about crypto AI or decentralized AI. So this was me, fanboy, seeing Vitalik in a BitTensor meetup. I was in Singapore, and then it's like, oh my God, Vitalik is there. He support bullish on Tau, I think, but he was there just talking bad about why crypto AI doesn't make sense anyway. But he was holding his mic like that. So nobody hears what he says. Everyone just think that it's bullish. But if you read his article, this is his article. So he say, yeah, there's a few things that you can do with crypto, but there ain't much, you know. And it's important to know how carefully we use AI in blockchain. So his take is a little bit more, slightly more pessimist, to be honest. But he did shares about like what is the crossover between AI and blockchain. Because AI is more towards that when you train the data, it's all about more towards centralization and little transparency is by default, because you don't want to share a model out very early phase of your training, because if someone have access to your model, they can easily exploit through it. That's the default of how AI works. And in blockchain, we promote decentralization and transparency as default. That's like a first class support every single blockchain. So that is a little bit contradict on that end. And then but they do have a little bit synergies in terms of if you want to release a model through very transparent manner, data ownership, monetization, that is all it can be done through the combination of blockchain and AI. So this is also still from Vitalik paper. He said that there's 4 use cases of AI. The first one is prediction market, which is prediction market, so that it's useful for the finality of the outcome using AI to count the odds and all those things. And then the second use case is for more like if you use Rabi or MetaMask, there's always like a heuristic check to make sure that you don't click on a scam link or approve a scam transaction. It's outlier detections. And then the third one is consensus, which is using AI as a judge. Today I'll cover more towards this consensus end, because I think I don't have a lot of time to share the whole thing, the whole market. And lastly, using crypto as incentives. This is more towards how BitTensor works. BitTensor is actually using crypto coins as a incentives level. Okay, so let's go down and break down in all these problems that we have with decentralized AI. So in blockchain, we want things to be very deterministic because we want things to be very easy to verify. But here's the problem. In proof of work, I'm just using proof of work as an example. The mining work is very, very hard. Not a lot of people can do unless you have an ASIC miner or whatever. But the verification is very simple. Anyone can come to the Explorer and just check the hash. Make sure the hash follows a pattern, like let's say 10 zeros in front. Then that's correct. It's very easy to verify. But in AI, the work is, I would say, is slightly easier than proof of work because you can just use any GPU, but GPU is expensive at the same time. But how do you verify an AI output? Yeah. So it's like, how do I verify whether it's correct or not? That's the tough part. So this is one of the challenges, what AI and crypto is hard to achieve. And the second problem is, how do you stop the exploit? If using an open source training data, that I mentioned earlier, because if anyone has access to, for example, a Tesla database, I can just pull out a projector and set like a wall, and then the Tesla will just immediately break, and a lot of problem will happen. Those kind of things. So that's how scary it is if you have an open source training data to a public. There's a lot of bad actors. So I think recently Google have a very, very big Google search leaks. Any SEO guru here? I assume no. Okay. So if any SEO guru they can leverage on this, you can actually push your site much more higher rank with this Google search algorithm leak. And then if bad actors have access to this, and then you can imagine all the scam ads outrank all the legit search query. So that's why the algorithm is like a gold mine. If someone has access to your, it's like your secret sauce. Someone has access to your secret sauce, they can open a new shop, for example. Yeah. And then we all know Twitter actually open sourced their algorithm, but a lot of us didn't know about this. They actually didn't open source the middle thing, which is the heavy ranker. So heavy ranker is actually used for the Twitter for you algorithm, which one will get pushed and all those things. So they're never gonna open source this, because if they open source, then this will happen, because this is how powerful it is. Anyone watch Dunes? No? What? Okay. Yeah. So it's he will control the spice, control the universe. So it's weights in this case. But yeah. So the last problem is, how do you prevent adversary attack? Basically, how can I make a cat into a dog? I just need to add some noise into it. An example is this, I guess. How do you know which one is cupcake, which one is dog? Which one can I eat, which one I cannot eat? Yeah. And with this kind of like just a little bit of those like a overlay, they can actually change the context on how AI look at things, because that's how AI is being trained. So this is very susceptible to adversary attack. So yeah, I think that covers three main questions, how it works. And then I just gonna tell you what is the consensus in the market right now, how they solve it. The first, I call it proof of validation. I don't know what's the name that I should create, because it's a very niche thing. I don't know what's the correct word, so I just call it proof of validations. So how it works is that the first example is a company called Heuris. Heuris, what it did is that he has a whole logs of all the AI. For example, they're using LM. You have all these results, so you run through like a heuristic check to find out any outliers. So it might rerun the whole validation to make sure that every single validation, every single inference word is correct, for example. And then you have things like BitTensor. So BitTensor, what they did is that they have this thing on, is a layer 0, which is called the blockchain or Tau. It's built on Polkadot. So the base layer is the blockchain. And then they have everyone is building on top of subnets. So subnets is like a L1. So this L1, they have access to the L0 as token. And then at the same time, they have their own security, they have their own consensus and those things. So it gets very interesting. So how most BitTensors and Commune AI subnet works is that they will get the task from the validator, will get the task from users. So users will ask, like, for example, what is the meaning of life in, I think it's the first thing I always ask LM, what's the meaning of life? Just to check whether they have meaning or not. But what they ask the subnets is that they will send the task to a miner, and then the miner will run the inference and then send it back to the validator. And then the validator, what they do is that they will check the work again. So basically it's this. Why do we need to do the work twice? To ensure consensus. That is TLDR, or proof of validation. Every work will be double checked to make sure that there is no bad actors. It's a very straightforward and how it works. And it is kind of effective, I would say, because it's very hard to scam someone that do the same work. It's like I do the homework and then the teacher also do the homework, and then he see my answer, then he know whether I'm cheating or not, something like that. So the second one is ZKML. I think there's a lot of ZK lover here. Yeah. So on ZKML, I'm not gonna say I'm very good at explaining ZK, but I will just share like this. This 2 library is very good. I will focus more towards EasyKL. EasyKL, what they did is that they can convert some of your ML models into a circuit, and it can go live very quickly. It supports ONNX, which is one of the common file that's being used in most of machine learning. I think another interesting is using WorldCoin. So WorldCoin, what they did is that they take your iris data and then they go through their own AI model. So this AI model only can be accessed through this hardware, and a certain trusted person only can access to a hardware. That's how they protect their algorithm. And then they store your data on chain onto using a ZK as a ZK circuit deployed on chain. Yeah. So that's just a few examples of ZKML. There's still a lot of ZKML around. These are just 2 of them that I understand. Yeah. Last, I will say, is the optimistic machine learning. We call it OPML. So you can think of it as a little bit like how rollup works. There's an optimism, there's a ZK version of it. So it's a very similar concepts. So that we have provided like Aura and Hyperbolic. What they did is that, so it's this. So basically it's just one person doing work, and then 10% audit, make sure that he didn't do a bad work. So yeah, I think that's TLDR on what is OPML. I think it goes a little bit deeper, is that some OPML gives a very high reward if you found someone is untrustable. So they have something called a challenge. So you can challenge if you find someone did a bad work. So all this work will be public, and then you check each of the transaction and things like that. So that is the quick diagram to explain what's the difference. So proof of validation, which is double work, so the inference time is 2x. OPML is very efficient because it's just 1x. You just need to get the task, and then if someone is doing back work, then they're just gonna get slash or whatever mechanism. And then ZKML is varies because it's a very depend on what kind of ZKML library you're using. They have different algorithm to optimize and all those things. And then I would say flexibility wise, OPML is very, very flexible because you can deploy a contract very fast, a new LM very fast. But to proof of validation, you still need some manual codes and adding on top of it. Security wise, I definitely think that proof of validation is considered high. ZKML also is high, but they're still susceptible to adversary attack because someone can just spoof their models. So spoof their request. And then lastly, I think it's all about scalability. I think OPML is more scalable compared to both other choices, but I think if you value security, ZKML is the way. But just that, I think ZKML, they don't really have a right way to run proper LM yet. So let's say there's a new meta LM that release, you cannot adapt ZKML quickly, but OPML, you can add it to your network really quick. Yeah, so that is just a very quick overview of how the market works. Yeah. Lastly, I think just gonna share a little bit about Chasm, what we do, how we gonna solve this problem, which algorithm do we like more? I think the answer is we're gonna use them all. So on our platform, user can just come in. It's like a no-code agent, AI agent building platform. So user can just come in and use any provider like GPT-4, Llama 70B, which is provided by all these decentralized AI. And right now it's all free. I think for a limited time. Yeah. So this is something we've been working on for a long time. Is a layer on top of all these LLMs, so we can support all these different LLMs very quickly. And you can come to our platform, just do all these workflows and drag and drops everything, and you can build your own AI workflow really quick. So the things about like what I built back then, like Tatarot, it takes me probably just less than 2 hours to build it in this kind of workflow. Yeah. That's it. I think this is a boring part, talking about the futures, about my product. So what we're gonna build the next, I think we wrote a very long ass paper on this site, a light paper, but the TLDR of this light paper that we wrote is basically we're gonna do a load balancer on top of all these LM. So down the road, we already built a V1. Basically, you come to our platform, you can just choose just one model. We'll direct you to the best model, cheapest and whatever, or even free model on top of this. So how we achieve that is that we do it through a method called Decentralized Panel Expert. Yeah, so how it works is that we leverage on all these different LM. So the LM will be much more smarter than all these base model LM. So we'll choose the LM that suits your use case, for example. Yeah, that's it. Sorry for a very long, shameless plug. Last one is just hiring. Yeah, I'm not sure whether any ML engineers here, but yeah, would love to have ML engineers if anyone want to talk to me. Yeah, would like to tweak your brain on the machine learning part. Yeah, that's it, I would say. Hope I didn't bore you all. Any questions? Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, is there any crypto or DeFi elements to AI?
I think the closest DeFi element is like BitTensor, because BitTensor has like a incentives layer. So think of BitTensor as like a decentralized hacker rank. So you fight for the best algorithm, who serve the best inference. So a lot of product, actually like News Research, one of the top LLM researcher company, they actually launched a subnet on there. And then actually Kaito also launched a subnet on BitTensor. So I was mining a bit on Kaito BitTensor, so I know already about what they do. So what all this project did is that they would use BitTensor as an incentive layer to collect their own data. So you can build out like a data pool. That's one method. The other method is to train their own LM or any kind of things. There's a lot of projects on BitTensor. It's very interesting because there are like 32 subnets. It's very competitive lah. So when you get into there, you need to burn a lot of money just to sell your miner and then cry about it. And then next day you wake up, you still continue doing it. Yeah, that's the life. Yeah. Yeah, I hope I answered your question in terms of DeFi. I think that's the closest example that. And then there's people that build like a bridge from Tau to Reptile, and then you can bridge into ETH and all those things lah. So we can do like they have a liquid staking on top of it. I don't know why you want to do that, but yeah, you can do all those things lah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi. I'm just curious, like when you said like open models, right? Do you mean to store like the whole model on the blockchain? Is that like
It's not really storing your own, because if you run the whole process on a blockchain, it will be very, very bloated lah. But it is possible using zkML is technically just running the inference on off-chain, but it can verify on-chain, make sure that it's the same model and compute lah. But I think for OPML case, it's more like how do you design a game theory? How do you make sure that there's no bad actor in your economy? It's more like a prisoner dilemma. Will I rat on the other person? Or if I rat on the other person, I'll get loose if the other person also rat on me, something like that. But in this case, for OPML, it's more like if someone found that you have issues in your inference, you get slashed in terms of your reward. You lose a lot of money. That's why I think in the history, optimism, Arbitrum, so far there's no dispute, and partly because most of the sequencer is actually centralized lah. Yeah. Sorry, I hope I answered your question.
kind of? Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Is there a product that the community can use? And is there any way the community can contribute
Yeah,
to
sure.
your project?
Sorry, let's just go back. We are providing Llama 70B and GPT-4, and I think there's a lot more other model coming up for free. If you are building any product with OpenAI, you can integrate it very quickly with our product. So the website is there, with.chasm.net. It's a no-code tooling platform lah. Feel free to give me any feedback if you use the product. For limited time, it's all free lah for these two models. Yeah, and the Llama 70B is actually the model that is very powerful. As you can see just now in the LM ranking, is number 10, the top LM in the what is it called? The LM ranking. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, please sign up. That's my KPI.
And is there anything the community can do to contribute?
I was just curious, like anyone build any AI stuff would like to share like their experience? Probably I can help. Yeah, just want to see anyone do any. Okay, maybe not share here, but just raise your hand if you are if you have used like OpenAI library or any other LangChain or whatever tooling. Just like to know. Oh yeah, there's a few. Okay, would like to talk to you after this. Yeah, thank you. Is there any other question? Okay. Yeah, I hope you all learn a thing or two about decentralized AI. It's a very early space. If anyone keen to join in the community or anything, yeah, can you just text me? This is my contact, Telegram. Yeah. I think that's it from my end. Yeah, thank you everybody for listening to my last minute prepared slides. Yeah.
Thank you, Johnson. So right now it's networking session. So I think there's no more pizzas right now. So feel free to network, talk to people, or reach out to Johnson if you're interested. Yeah, okay. Thanks, everyone.